Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And I'm sorry for the delayed start this morning. Just as I had everything all set up, and I was just waiting for it to click over to 10 o'clock. The Australian government called me, and I'm working on stuff on behalf of Nick with Centrelink, which is their equivalent to like Social Security, and they don't give you really a heads up that they're calling, and when they do, if you don't answer, it puts a whole kink in the whole process. So I really felt like I had to take it. So apologies to all of you for my late start, but hopefully you find me or you're catching it on replay. Before I get into my project today, I wanted to remind you that the new annual catalog is out and available. I'm happy to send one to you if you're in Australia and you don't have a demonstrator that you're working with, or you'd like to switch over to working with me. Be happy to do that for you. Just drop me a note at, there we go, Nancy@nancysniftynotes.com, or on my website, nancysniftynotes.com. On the right sidebar, there is a place that you can click to say request a catalog, and fill that all out, and I will send one to you. But today I am going to be using a set, well, now I can't remember if this is in the current mini catalog or if it's online exclusive. I think it's in the mini catalog. In any case, you can find it online, whichever publication it is or isn't in. You Are Remarkable. It is a standalone stamp set, so it does not have dies or a punch that go with it, but it's really pretty simple daisy flower with a couple of sentiments and a couple of accent graphics too, and I think it's very nice in its simplicity, and so it's one of the things that I have chosen to invest in this year, because I think it will work with all kinds of other products, both in my stash already and perhaps new ones that I will add. Today I am actually using mostly new stuff. Let me close my door here. I started with both dogs in with me, and Glenn started moving around in his office, and they went to investigate that, and he started talking to them. So now we've got it peaceful and quiet. So I am going to be making a fun fold card today that I did for a class, about 9 months ago. This is going to have a totally different feel to it, but I am going to start by doing some stamping. We're going to stamp this image, and it comes in basically 4 parts. So there's a line image, and you can just use this by itself, but I am going to stamp it in Memento, and I am actually using my Memento pad as opposed to my uninked white pad that I've inked up with Memento ink. But I'm doing this one because all my other pads are downstairs in project totes for my April class. We are, yes, in mid-April now. So there's the line image, and again, line images I think work fine with this regular Memento pad. And then I am going to fill in, and the fill stamps are done in that distinctive watercolory. I wonder if they stopped marking distinctive. It's not marked that way, but I know it is. So you'll see, you can probably see on the stamp itself it looks like the color hasn't gone evenly. It's because the image is etched. I think it's easier to see if I turn this way. The image is etched, and some parts of it come out darker than others. And I'm just looking through the block here to align as best I can. With below, I missed a little bit, but it'll be okay. There we go. It's okay with me that it's not quite on. If it weren't, I would just turn it over and stamp again. We'll see how the flower comes out. If it's all too cattywampus or wonky or whatever, I will turn it over and stamp again. This is Strawberry Slush. This is a returning in color. Which is an interesting move. There we go. But there it is. I think that's a pretty color, and it's interesting to me that they've chosen to bring it back. It is different from Melon Mambo. And it is quite different from Berry Burst. So, and then in the center, I'm going to use Darling Duckling, which is a new in color. It's a new yellow in color. And I will ink that up and put that in the center. There we go. And I think that's going to be fine. And I am going to cut that out now. Remember, it doesn't have an outline die. It doesn't come with dies, but I am using these Textured Notes dies, which is part of an online exclusive suite that I think perhaps is the same name, Textured Notes. And I believe this will go through my mini without issue. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for joining me today. Yep, I'm going to need to slice that a little narrower to get through. I think I'm going to run it this way so I can see what I'm doing. And it just fits. And I'm gonna grab some Post-it tape. And go on. Go. I really like these dies. They have, it's called Textured Notes, and that's because they each have slightly different texture around the edge. And they're really quite nice looking, I think. Okay, do that. And I have, oh, it doesn't matter how big your workspace is. There's never enough of it, right? I have gone ahead and cut out an old olive mat for this. Just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Like so. There we go, and I'm going to set that aside for a moment because we are going to work on the card base. And I'm calling this a bifold card. And like I said, I made it in a class back in June 2024. Here, I can even show you the picture there. I did it with the rhinos. And I went looking for a design to make this card. I had something in mind, and this one worked for what I wanted. So we're going to score it at 5.25 and 10.5. That means I'm exactly in half, and then so in half, and then the front flap is in half too. So I'm going to burnish both of those scores like so. And this is why I'm calling it a bifold, because it will open up like that. If I folded it back like that, that would be a Z fold or a Z fold, but we're going to go this way this time. So the other thing I've prepared already, I've prepared a couple different things already. One is I made strips that fit in these panels, and I'm going to say embossed because that's really what it is. This is actually a die, but it's kind of it's a die, and it cuts little holes in it, but really it's kind of embossing. So you can probably see through that. I know I can right here. And so I cut the strips, and then I ran them through my full-size Big Shot with these, doing my best to line them up straight on these lines because they are going to be very much vertical like so. And I want to be really careful because I think the glue could ooze up through those little holes. So I'm doing some thinking about how I am going to adhere it. Let's try some, yeah, this is why I don't use this very often. I am terrible with this. Well, like I said, I am absolutely horrid with this stuff. So why don't I just go ahead and keep trying to do the same thing that I messed up the last time. We're going to try the glue. We will find out how badly it oozes through. I'm going to put some down where there aren't holes, and we'll see how it goes. I would do tear and tape, but again, that's also downstairs in my class totes. So far, no glue oozing through, and hopefully, but also not sticking really well. Hang on here, guys. Let's see how we go. Let's see if that works. Now that it's okay, now it's doing okay. I am just keeping it real for you guys. But I love, love, love okay, so that's what it is. It's just, it curves a bit because of the die cut, and you just need to press it longer so that it gets good adhesion. And I've got one spot where a little bit of glue tried to come out. So this is one of those times when what I would do is I'd do that, and then I'd probably place one of my big blocks on it for a couple minutes. So, note to self, next time I do this, I would start with gluing those down, and then I would do this. But this is going to go right here. Now it's stuck, I think. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll let that sit, and we'll work on the inside panel. Hello, I'm back. Set all those aside. So I've got an inside piece, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of stamping on that. I'm going to bring this in to work on. And I picked out, there are 3 different sentiments in this set. And I chose "You are remarkable in every single way." The others are "Friends are flowers in the garden of life." And "Sometimes the simplest things mean the most." So bring in my memento again. And stamp that kind of center-ish. And I'm going to bring my flower in again. And I'm just going to do it right there. Hi, Mom. I hope you all are having good weather. We've had summer decide to make another brief appearance this past week, and I am completely over it. Everybody was very excited at the farmer's market on Saturday. Oh, isn't it a beautiful day? And it was beautiful when we were there first thing in the morning. And they're like, "Aren't you excited?" I'm like, it's good now. It's lined up maybe a little bit better than on the front. And yes, I should have done all this stamping at once, but now I get to let the front of my card dry, right? Ooh. Here we go. Go. And I'm going to add one more thing in here. One of the cute little things, other stamps that they included is this little bee that's going buzzing along, and I just thought that'd be cute on the inside one. So we're going to do that in memento. which is good because I've got a little old olive speck there, and that kind of covers that up. And then I brought in my Darling Duckling marker to add just a couple yellow stripes to that little bitty bee. So that's stamped. We can add it to an old olive mat. So hopefully yesterday, today, the last days that we're going to be really quite warm for a while. We've been up almost 30 or into the low 30s, just around 80, the low 80s. And like I said, I'm over it. That is not for me. Okay, so that's stuck down. And this we'll put in the middle. And now we're going to build up the front. So we have these two little bits of cardstock, and they are going to get glued on equally and evenly on either side of that front bifold. Like so. You see how that goes? You can probably guess what's going to happen next, which is some glue on each of those. And now we make that go as straight and even as we can. I'm going to hold that in place for a moment. And then that sits there. That's why it's bifold. And then when you put it up like so, you'll get to see some of that one peeking out and this one on the front. How fun is that? Now, do we add? These are the 2025-2026 in color flat pearls. I was wondering about adding some of the Darling Duckling ones on here. What do you think? Keep it plain or add a couple of these on here somewhere. I probably wouldn't do the strawberry slush ones. They kind of, unless you think so. I was thinking the Darling Duckling. What do you think? I love that. I love small repetitive background stuff and tone on tone. I just love that. I'm so happy with that. I hope that sticks around a good long while. Yeah, I wondered about Nicole, Gladys, but that's okay. That worked too. I figured it's a Nicole day. Sarah says yes for the bling. I know Sarah's a bling lover. Well, why don't I put some on, and if we don't like them, we can take it off. I hope. That's better, isn't it? I'm going to go with that. You said on the inside, Michelle? I'm good with it like that. So, sorry for the late start this morning, but I think it all came out okay because I actually managed to plan ahead a little bit. I hope you like. I showed you 2 of the new in colors. There's the other 3 that we didn't use today. We're still waiting for Cloud Cover ink pad to come out. Hopefully they get that issue sorted soon. Yeah, the Timid Tiger and the Secret Sea. The Secret Sea is an interesting color. Let me pull that one out. Sorry, I popped off a Cloud Cover pearl there. Just take a moment to show you this one, maybe with a marker. It's it can't decide if it's blue or green, so that's sea-like, right? But it's really kind of dark. But so there's black, so it's not black. And there's, well, that's an old one, but basic gray. It's not, it's bluer than that. I don't know how well you guys can see all this. I'll hold it up in a moment. And there's Night of Navy. Let me see what you can see. Yeah, it all looks pretty black, I'm sure. I'm bringing my light in closer so you can see them. So black on the left, basic gray up top, Secret Sea in the middle, Night of Navy on the right. And if I could hold it still, it would actually focus, right? Yeah, so they call it Secret Sea. They almost, I think, should have called it Stormy Sea, but they didn't ask me. So it's going to be a nice neutral to use. Yeah, it's nice to have something to ponder about a little bit, I think. Anyhow, thank you for joining me today. We'll go back to what we actually did here. And I will see about getting some measurements up for this one. Yeah, check my blog post that comes out, my next blog post will have this, and yeah, I'll update the tutorial page and probably and stick it up, because this is that's a fun fold. It's not particularly difficult. It's just those 2 extra little bits on there, and they're not hard to do at all. So yeah, I will be back same time, same place next week. Have a happy Easter for all of you who are observing that. Have a good rest of Passover if you are observing that. Yeah, and this is, I was going to say spring holidays. No, it's school holidays here in Australia this week and next week. And then, yeah, next Friday is Anzac Day. So lots of public holidays coming up here. So I will see you next week. Bye.